Hello and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here for the first time, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. My name's Hannah and on this channel I post a lot of anti-MLM content, so as always I link a playlist at the beginning of every video. This is my big anti-MLM playlist. At this point there's over 160 videos on there, and if you like this content I would love it if you consider liking the video, subscribing, sticking around. All those things are really supportive of the channel and I appreciate you so much for doing that. Today I'm bringing you another MLM top fails video. This is a compilation style video of everything on social media you can imagine. TikToks, Reels, live streams, Instagram posts, Instagram stories, pretty much anything posted by people in MLMs. They're sent to me, I sift through them, I do my best to pick out the best of the best top fails of that week. I showcase them here, we discuss them, debunk them, and I offer a lot of commentary. And this is a reminder that I rely completely on viewers to send me the content for these videos. So if you come across something on social media that you think would be a great fit, go ahead and send it to me. I would love to take a look at it. And I tried to make the instructions very easy. I put them in the description box below. And without further ado, let's take a look at these top fails for this week. First up is Colleen's latest ridiculousness on the No Shame Sales Game Instagram account. Now, if you don't know who this is, if you're not familiar with this account, here's a very quick recap. There's an Instagram account called No Shame Sales Game, and this is a pro MLM account. The person who runs it, her name is Colleen, and she posts a lot of content regarding the multi-level marketing industry and the quote-unquote right way to do it. This is definitely the biggest pro MLM Instagram account there is. Honestly, there's not many of them out there. There are plenty of anti-MLM Instagram accounts spreading awareness on that front, but pro MLM accounts are far and few between, and it almost kind of feels like if you join an MLM in this day and age, you're probably also following this account. This is where people in MLMs go to see all of their thoughts and beliefs confirmed. Colleen posts a lot of what could be seen as like inspirational or motivational quotes or phrases or sentiments that are very much in support of the MLM industry. Hi, Zeke. However, as somebody who has an anti-MLM perspective, I see plenty of issues with this account and the kind of misinformation that it is perpetuating. And I think it's actually a very toxic Instagram account. And way back in November of 2021, I did a whole video just on this one account. I showcased several different posts. We talked about how it's problematic. We talked about how the messaging is not good. It's very toxic. But still, over a year later, we are still seeing Colleen posting things that are just outdoing herself. Like they just get crazier and crazier. Zeke, the camera is not for you, bud. So you may have seen more recent posts of hers popping up in more videos of mine over time, because every time she posts something crazy, I'm like, okay, we'll put that in a video. It can't possibly get worse than this, right? And she continually proves me wrong. So here's the post we're talking about. This was posted the day after the Super Bowl, and it says, Rihanna performed the Super Bowl halftime show pregnant. You are not too busy or tired to work your business today. The caption says, I'm Rihanna neutral, but I was in awe seeing her perform that halftime show as a pregnant woman. Like, you're either a boss who gets it done or you're not. And if that triggers you, you have your answer. Pick your lane and let's go. So I saw this for the first time and I was like, ooh, this is not a good look. Nothing she posts, in my opinion, is really a good look, but this is like extra bad. So naturally, as I always do, I go to the comment section. I want to see what people are saying to this, because it's interesting to look at these posts through the eyes of people in MLMs who are following this account and what they have to say about it. And unfortunately, what I've found is in the past, if I see one of Colleen's posts and I think it's problematic, I go to the comment section and there's like nobody calling her out for it. Like it's all just completely positive. It never seems like her followers see any of the same red flags or issues that I seem to see. But to my complete shock, this post was different. I have 6 different comments that I pulled, and all of these people, keep this in mind, these are people in MLMs that are commenting these. This is not people from the anti-MLM side flooding her comment section and calling her out for something. These are her own followers, her own supporters, people who are quote unquote on her side, who are looking at this post and recognizing that it's problematic and saying something about it. The first comment is from a beauty counter rep, and it says, as someone who is at the top of my company and runs my own separate successful business, this is toxic. For those reading, you do not need to live up to an impossible standard to make it. I ruined my health chasing hustle culture and wish I learned you can work smart, not hard. Build a business that supports you, empowers you, has your back when you need to rest. That's what the benefit of this business is all about. This is a comment from a rep of the MLM company Closet Candy, which I don't think we've ever talked about on this channel, but this says, I normally love your straight talk and find you really motivating, but I find this really out of touch and I'm surprised, honestly. In 2023, there is no reason to play this crazy comparison game and call it motivation. Work your business or don't. Either is fine. Rihanna was absolutely a boss babe last night performing pregnant. It was inspiring for sure. But the reality is she has a tribe to make that happen, and that's okay. But no other woman needs to feel less than just because she can't hit that mark today. Let's just celebrate other women without the constant comparison game. Another beauty counter rep says, sorry, but this is awful. This isn't motivating. It's judgmental. Some women have lupus, cancer, Hashimoto's, etc. Some women have crazy pregnancy complications. Some women have severe postpartum depression. Some women really are too tired. A Saint rep says, most out of touch content you've ever put out. Wrong statement to make on so many levels. Also shows how out of touch you are on motherhood versus careers. And Colleen decides to respond to this person and says, you have no idea what you're talking about. I am very in touch with careers and motherhood, and Rihanna showed us last night that you don't need to sacrifice one for the other. I appreciate your input and hope you have a wonderful day. An Isogenics rep says, sorry, but this is just everything that's wrong with toxic hustle culture, and the reason why so many women struggle with feeling like they're good enough. You can be too tired, period. Colleen responds, you can be tired and still get stuff done. And finally, a pharmacy rep says, ew, why are we comparing motivation like we know the entire picture of every single woman? And Colleen thinks it's cute to just respond a few laughing emojis and call it a day. Now, mind you, there are over 800 comments on this post. I just showed you 6 of them. But if you went and scrolled through all 800 of those, the majority of them are people saying, look, Colleen, this doesn't look very good. We shouldn't be glamorizing hustle culture. It's okay if you need to rest. Work-life balance is a really good thing. That's how we prevent burnout. That's how we live fulfilled lives. This is really out of touch, and it doesn't make you look good that you're shaming women for needing to take a break. But here's the thing. Colleen doesn't seem to give a flying F, okay? She is taking no accountability whatsoever for how messed up the messaging of this post is. In fact, she went to her Instagram stories and she doubled down, which is what I'm going to show you next.
Okay, hi to everyone who is bent the out of shape from today's post. I posted it and then went to go do a workout and work. And my husband texted me. He was like, way to trigger some people today. And one of my good friends just called me. She's like, solidarity. I was like, what's happening? I didn't even go look. Okay, you missed the point. Rihanna got out there last night and did not give the best Super Bowl performance. She basically stood there and walked around and sang and lip synced and did whatever. She got it done. That's the thing. All of us are playing our own Super Bowl, our own life situation, and you can get it done. You're not going to be the best every single time. And you don't have to be. Rihanna was like, F it. She could have deferred and said, I'll do it next year when I'm in the best shape of my life. She doesn't need the Super Bowl money. She didn't, whatever. She could have said no. She said, yeah, okay, let's go. And I've never understood the people, anybody who has the time or effort or desire to write angry comments anywhere on the internet when they see something they don't agree with. It does not compute in my brain, but it happens every day. Instead of getting pissed off at me in the comments section, you could have taken those several minutes and worked your business. Just checking back in after doing some more work. And since my engagement is through the roof, I thought I would take this opportunity to let people know that if you don't get your panties in a wad and you know that to reach your goals, that it requires work, and you can do that without burnout and have fun and be a human on the internet, you can come join my space, Indirect Sales Growth Community. If today upset you, you're not my people.
Okay, where do we begin? So again, clearly she sees absolutely nothing wrong with this post, and she is taking zero accountability for essentially shaming all women for needing to rest and take care of themselves once in a while. This is giving the whole Kim Kardashian get up off your and work kind of situation. It wasn't a good look on Kim then. It's not a good look on Colleen now. 3 things here. Number 1, she basically started off by saying that Rihanna gave a half performance and did the absolute bare minimum just to get it done, which maybe we didn't watch the same thing. I didn't personally get that impression at all. I thoroughly enjoyed her performance. I thought she did a great job. Not to mention that for a significant portion of it, she was on a moving platform really high up in the air. I'm sure that just for like safety and liability concerns, you can't exactly be up there like going crazy, right? It makes logical sense to me that she probably couldn't move around that much and that she was limited in her movements. Like, do you want her to fall to her death on live television, Colleen? Is that what you want? Would that make a good performance for you? I don't know. And then I just start wondering, like, what would make a good performance? If she was up there jumping around the stage and running around and losing her breath and dancing her heart out so she can't sing properly? Like, I feel like if she did that, then you'd say, oh, her performance sucked because she was out of air and she couldn't sing. And then I kind of start to think, like, we've praised male performers for doing far less. So, I'll just say that. I'll just leave it there. But regardless, I guess enjoying a live performance, it's subjective. I personally thought Rihanna killed it. I loved it. Maybe Colleen didn't love it, and that's okay, but I feel like it's a weird angle to take to kick off this Instagram story that Rihanna didn't need this performance. She could have deferred, but she went out there and she gave a half-hearted effort and she still got it done. Just in general, I feel like that's a weird point to be making, and it doesn't have anything to do with her post on Instagram. In her post, she was kind of praising Rihanna, like, wow, look at her. She went out there. She performed the Super Bowl pregnant. Good for her. If she can do that, then you can work your business today. That was the point of the post. So why is she going on her Instagram story being like, she gave a crappy performance or something? I don't know. But okay, moving on from the weird Rihanna tangent. Secondly, I don't agree with how she labels these as angry comments. To me, the comments really don't strike me as angry. They strike me as constructive feedback from her followers. Like, hey, I think this is kind of out of touch. I think you missed the mark this time, and here's why. And I would hope that if she had 800 comments all saying the same thing, that she might take a step back and do some self-reflection and acknowledge that this was out of line. It's just incredible to me that she has over 800 people all kind of saying the same thing and giving her the same feedback, and she's refusing to accept that they might have a point and they might be justified in those comments. I feel like if you are the only person who thinks that you're right in this situation and everyone else is saying that you're wrong, it might be worth at least considering that you might be in the wrong. Colleen had several options here. She could have taken the post down. That's one option, but she's not going to because it's really good for her engagement. Another option could be to address and maybe even apologize to those hundreds of women that she offended. Working to do better moving forward is another option, but no, she's not having any of it. There is zero remorse, accountability, or reflection here. Instead, she's labeling these people as those who just have too much time on their hands to go and leave an angry comment on her post. No, Colleen, these are your loyal followers. These are people in MLMs. They are on your side, so to speak, and they're pointing out that they usually love your account and love your content, but this ain't it. And to wrap it all up, she ends her Instagram story by promoting her $365 direct sales growth community. I obviously have not paid the $365 for this. I don't know exactly what it entails, but it appears from the outside that it looks kind of like a community of people in MLMs. You join this group, you pay a lot of money to join this group, and Colleen offers her words of wisdom and tricks of the trade, and perhaps provides you resources on how to be successful in your MLM or something. She literally said that her engagement is through the roof right now, so she's going to take this opportunity to pitch to you her MLM community group that you can have access to if you pay her $365. I don't really know if that was a good move for her, because my hunch is that her engagement is through the roof because so many people are outraged about what she posted, and people are shocked about how she's choosing to respond to people in the comments and addressing it on her Instagram story, and people kind of want to come and see the craziness for themselves. I don't know if that was really the best opportunity to try and pitch somebody your product. You see what I'm saying? And she really puts the nail in her own coffin by saying that if you're angered by her post about Rihanna, that quote, "You are not my people and you're not welcome in my direct sales growth community and we don't want you here." Basically, if you don't agree with everything I do, then screw you. This is a really bad look for Colleen and a really bad look for her account. And I've been saying this for over a year now, but this Instagram account is highly toxic. The messaging, more often than not, is really problematic, yet her followers don't often seem to see that. Until now, that is. And it seems like finally, instead of her comment section being filled with fire emojis and yes girls and praise and agreement, now she's kind of met with some pushback. She's finally crossed the line a little bit too far and people are finally calling her out on it, which personally I feel like is a very valuable thing for her followers to see. See that she crossed a line, see the feedback she's gotten, and more importantly, see how she has chosen to handle it by doubling down and shaming those people even more. I sense that there might be a little bit of a light bulb moment here going off in the eyes of her followers. Like, hey, this messaging is actually really toxic and I'm making a mental note, and maybe going forward, I'm gonna look at these posts in a different lens. And who knows, it may serve for her followers to now look at her account through a bit more of a critical eye. I think that Colleen shot herself in the foot. I really do. And I also think that the engagement generated from this post is not going to work in her favor the way that she's expecting it to. Next up is a piece of notable anti-MLM news, if you will, and that is that the Canadian MLM company Tiber River is shutting down the MLM component to their business model, and they are moving fully to online retail where they are selling their product directly to the customer through their website. In other words, they're not going to have a business opportunity anymore. There's not going to be an MLM anymore where people can sign up to sell that product for a commission. They are cutting out that middleman of the MLM rep completely, and they are selling their product directly to the customer now. And in case you're not familiar with this company, because I wasn't actually, Tiber River markets themselves as selling eco-friendly personal care and cleaning products. This is not a company that I've ever discussed in detail on my channel before, but it's definitely worth mentioning now considering that they're shutting down the MLM component, and that's really huge news. We love to see MLM companies shutting down. That is a huge sign of progress as anti-MLM awareness grows and this kind of business model becomes less lucrative. Seeing a company shut down their MLM component is great, but it doesn't end there in the case of Tiber River. Not only is the company abandoning their MLM model, but they're also not going to be paying out the final commissions to their reps. In January, the company said, hey, just so you know, in February, we're abolishing the whole MLM thing. It's not going to be a thing anymore, but you can earn your commissions through the end of the month, through the end of January, and your final commission check will be paid out to you in February. Well, February is here, and on the 14th, the company sent out this email. It says, good afternoon. As you already know, we are restructuring and recapitalizing our business. Unfortunately, we found out there's going to be a significant delay in this process. As a result, we are not able to release your commission payment into your Hyper wallet today. To ensure you still receive compensation, we will be issuing your commission payment to you in the form of loyalty points. Because we recognize this is a change from how we have paid commission in the past, we will be adding a 20% premium to the points you are paid. With loyalty points, you will be able to order products from our website, which you can use or sell at your discretion. They're literally saying, we're not going to be paying you in money, we're going to be paying you in loyalty points. You're not going to get actual dollars, you're going to get points in which you can go on our website and buy more of our product. All loyalty points will be uploaded by Thursday, February 16th, and to use your points, log into your customer account on our website using the same email address you used as an ambassador. You can then select redemption value and apply it to your order. We apologize for the challenge this presents you. If there was another way, we would have taken it, but we simply do not have the funds available to pay commissions in the same manner as we did previously. We have done the best we can to honor your contributions with the only option available to us at this time. Sincerely, Adriana and Michelle, which are the co-founders of Tiber River. Oh my goodness, this is so bad. Imagine expecting an actual paycheck with actual dollars that you can use on actual things like groceries or bills, and then the company throws you a curveball at the last minute and they say, yeah, we're actually not going to pay you. We're just going to give you some product credit so that you can continue to shop on our website and continue to be a customer for us. That is absurd. absurd. I have an excerpt from an article published by the Canadian news outlet CTV. It says, Ambassador Jan Otto said that she was shocked when she learned about the news on Wednesday. I'm angry because I'm a single person. My Tiber River business was my primary income, she said. That's what I primarily supported myself with. So not only did they take that away from me in January, now they're telling me that I can't even have the money that they owe me. She added, I can't pay my rent with a bottle of soap. Ashley McCall, who has served as an ambassador for the past 4 years, was also shocked at the announcement, saying she felt like she was taken advantage of. I do have a good following base of customers, and especially with having January being my last month, a lot of customers came out of the woodwork and helped support that to kind of go out with a bang, earning a decent amount of commissions for myself. And now nothing is being paid out, and I was relying on that income for some of my bills this month as well. McCall said that she and other ambassadors are deciding next steps, including possible legal action. This is a big yikes, you guys, and you can see why. They're choosing to shut down the MLM component. That is great, but they're also refusing to pay their ambassadors the money that they earned. They think it's okay to just pay their reps in product credits rather than actual money. And as one woman said in the article, product credits don't pay the bills. And to me, it feels like the company is clearly struggling and they have all of their inventory of unsold product. Maybe that's kind of up against an expiration date, question mark. They don't have actual money to be paying their ambassadors with, but they have all this unsold inventory rotting away in a warehouse somewhere. And it feels like the company is going, let's give them this product as payment and call it a day. And that is so messed up. Is this legal? I feel like it cannot possibly be. I, of course, have no professional legal background, but it just feels like this can't be allowed. How are you allowed to tell people that they are eligible to earn commissions through the end of January and then just pull the rug out from under them and go, oops, just kidding, we lied. We don't actually have money to pay you. Here's some product instead. It's just not acceptable. I hope that there's some legal action in the future for this. But here's my question is, how does the company not have enough money to pay out commissions? Because you would think that the price of the product is marked up to accommodate for the commissions. So when that product sells, you should easily be able to take a cut of that revenue and give it to the representative in their commission check, right? That's what I would think. Obviously, I've never run an MLM before. I don't know if that's really how it works, but that's how I always kind of envisioned it. So even though January was their last month, their ambassadors are still going out there and selling products. They're still selling the company's products for them. They're still making the company money. So how does the company not have enough money to take a little slice of that pie and pass it along to the ambassador? Just because January was their last month, they should still be able to treat it like it was any other month. If the company's always been able to pay out commission checks previously, why is January so different? Why is the very last month of the MLM different? Why all of a sudden do they just not have enough money to pay out commissions? That whole situation right there signals to me that there are much deeper issues going on within this company and that they probably didn't have the money to pay out these commissions in the first place, and this was their plan all along. It wasn't just like, oops, look at that, we don't have enough money, sorry. I think it's more logical that the company knew that this was coming and they didn't have the decency to tell their reps ahead of time and instead told them, just continue earning through the end of the month, continue pushing our products, please. This is all my personal opinion. All of it is speculation, of course, but that's how it feels. That's how it's coming across to me. And the lesson in all of this is that MLMs are not stable and not sustainable. The rug can be pulled out from you at any moment. It's as simple as an email. Hey, by the way, we're shutting down the MLM next month. Oh, and by the way, we're actually not going to be paying you the money that you earned. Okay, bye. Good luck, everyone. See you later. If this is not perfect evidence to support the fact that these things are not your own business, I don't know what else to show you at this point. MLM reps love to call themselves business owners, entrepreneurs, saying that they have their own company or they have their own business. This proves that all of those claims are false. When you sign up for an MLM, you are not becoming the owner of that company. You are not now the CEO of Tiber River. Instead, you're becoming an independently contracted salesperson who can be dropped at any moment for any reason. And you have zero control over anything. And this really sucks. This is really unfortunate for those people who have been left high and dry. And it's sickening to think that this can even happen, but it is the reality. And I want to make that clear. Just imagine that you make an MLM your full-time income and you rely on that income for bills and expenses. And overnight you wake up to an email saying, hey, you lost your job. Ugh, it's just really upsetting. Like, I would hate for anyone to get themselves into that position, but people do. People treat this like their full-time job. But let this serve as the ultimate example that MLMs are not stable. And I'm going to be keeping my eye on this and seeing if anything actually comes of this, because I fully believe that the company deserves to be held accountable. This is unacceptable. The next thing I have to show you is a reel, and it's a short one, and it says, not wanting to try Monate because it's an MLM is not a product or business model problem, it's an ego problem. Love you, bye. The caption to this says, I was stuck in my ego too for 2 whole years until I finally got to a point where I didn't have anything to lose because my hair was so bad and I was at a loss on what to do. Needless to say, putting my ego aside for fear of what others would say was the best decision I made for my hair and for my confidence. DM me if you're ready to say yes to better hair. I completely disagree, obviously, no surprise there. And to me, this feels like yet another example of placing the blame on the person rather than the company or the business model. This is similar to when people will say, oh, you just didn't like the products because you didn't use them the right way, or you just didn't make money in your MLM because you didn't work hard enough, that kind of thing. This falls into that same kind of person blaming category, insinuating that the business model itself is perfect. It's just you that's the problem if you don't agree with it. If you don't like the business model, there must be something wrong with you. And in this case, it must be your ego. I don't know that I've ever seen it called an ego problem though, which is interesting when you think about the primary reason that people don't like MLMs. I think it's fair to say that most people don't like the MLM business model because of that recruitment aspect and because of the fact that you have to sucker other people into it if you want to make money. You have to step on others to get to the top. You have to exploit and manipulate and prey on others to get to the top. And I think that generally people would agree that exploiting, manipulating, and preying on people is not a good thing, that we should not be doing it. But that's what MLMs encourage. That's what the MLM compensation plans incentivize. That's what they pay you to do. So I guess my point is that being against the MLM business model, it makes logical sense to most people if they're willing to open themselves up to learning about how the business model works. It's pretty easy to see why people would have an issue with that. And it doesn't really have anything to do with ego. It doesn't have anything to do with like, I'm better than you because I don't support MLMs. I think it's more so that people are just taking a stand against something they don't agree with. People see issues, in my opinion, valid issues with the MLM business model, and they choose not to support it. But just because you have an opinion on something doesn't mean that it makes you egotistical necessarily. Speaking for myself here, I choose not to support MLM companies, not because it's an ego issue where I think I'm better than you or I'm just too good for it or something. It just simply boils down to the fact that I recognize how the business model is harmful and it has the potential to destroy many aspects of a person's life, and that's not something I agree with, so I don't support it. And I think that not wanting to try Monate because it's an MLM is very much a product and business model problem. That's the entire reason why I wouldn't want to support Monate, because it's an MLM. If it wasn't an MLM, I can't say that I would necessarily have a problem with it. Unless, of course, they were doing something else problematic and shady, but again, I don't think this has anything to do with ego. But I don't know, I'm curious to see what people think about this because I've never seen somebody approach it this way before. I've never seen anybody try to make the argument that if you don't support an MLM, that it must be because you're too self-important or because you're too egotistical. Next up is another reel. There isn't any audio to it, but this is from a Plexus rep who's posting screenshots of their paycheck amounts. I'll play it over here and it does cycle through really fast, but don't worry, we'll slow it down and take it point by point. At first glance, these look like email notifications, perhaps from several different people on her team, all saying, great news, you just got paid, and then it posts the paycheck amount. What I'm noticing is that all of these paychecks have the same date of January 12th, 2023, which leads me to believe that these are collected from her teammates maybe. These are not all her own personal paychecks, because obviously she's not going to be getting 4 or 5 different paychecks on the same exact day. Rather, these are multiple people's paychecks that she's compiling together for the purpose of this reel. So I slowed it down and I looked at each one individually. The first paycheck is for $1,094. The second paycheck is for $822. The third paycheck is $887. The fourth paycheck is $1,081. And then she does post a fifth paycheck, but I noticed it was just a duplicate of the first one. So she's posting what looks like 5 different screenshots, but one of them is doubled. The first and last paycheck are the exact same screenshot, so I don't know why she included it twice. Anyway, 4 different paychecks, 2 of them for about $1,000, 2 of them around $800. $800. And my assumption is that these are all from different people. And her caption says, do you need financial breathing room? $300 extra a month, $500 extra, $1,000 extra? How much do you need? With all kinds of hashtags, financial breathing room, side gig, side hustle, extra income, women in business, etc. Okay, so I have a few thoughts. And the first thought immediately is that, hey, these aren't terrible paychecks, honestly. These are monthly paychecks, so $800 a month, $1,000 a month. As long as this is not your full-time job and your full-time income, that's honestly not too bad. If Plexus is your only source of income, then these amounts are not great at all, actually. This is far less than you could make at minimum wage jobs. But if this is your side hustle or your extra income, this is not a bad amount of extra income every month. And I have no problem acknowledging that. I would love to have an extra $1,000 a month. Are you kidding me? Who wouldn't? But here's where it gets dicey, is my first instinct was to look at these screenshots of the paychecks being posted publicly and to think to myself, well, obviously that's against policy. You can't be posting your paychecks, because that is the case for many MLM companies. There is explicit writing in their policies and procedures that says you cannot post your paychecks on social media. You cannot be sharing the actual explicit numbers. We cannot be doing that. However, when I looked at Plexus's policies and procedures document, it says a brand ambassador is prohibited from making false, misleading, inaccurate, or unrepresentative claims regarding earning potential. If a brand ambassador does make an income claim, it must be based on actual earnings. It must not be misleading and must contain the required disclaimer as follows. Quote, Plexus makes no guarantees on income, as such representations may be misleading. Your success depends on your effort, commitment, skill, and leadership abilities and how effectively you exercise those qualities. Please see the Plexus annual income disclosure statement. End quote. So actually, the way that I'm interpreting this, it looks like for Plexus specifically, you might be okay to make an income claim saying that you made $800 this month if you're able to provide screenshot evidence that you actually did make $800 this month. It's only saying that you can't make false or misleading or misrepresentative claims. But if you're posting a picture of your actual paycheck, that's not false. That's not misleading. That is the amount that you really did get paid. So what I'm gathering is that it might not be against compliance to post your paychecks, which is interesting because for a lot of companies that is against compliance. However, this specific reel is in violation of Plexus's compliance because nowhere in the reel or in the caption does she copy and paste that disclaimer saying that Plexus guarantees no income and that you should go and look at the income disclosure statement for the real numbers. She's not in violation of compliance for posting the screenshots, but she is in violation of compliance for not putting the required disclaimer on it. And as the disclaimer says, go look at the income disclosure statement to see what people are really making. And that's where things continue to get dicey because in the most recent income disclosure statement that I could find at least is from 2020 and they don't tell us how much people at each rank in Plexus are making. However, they do say that the top 1% of brand ambassadors made an average of $37,000 annually and 50% of that top 1% made more than $14,875. So this isn't looking good. If we're looking at the whole pyramid of Plexus and we're zooming in on just the top 1%, this is saying that 50% of that top 1% made more than $14,875, but by virtue of saying that, that also means that there is 50% of people in the top 1% of the company that are making less than $14,875 for the whole year. So now I'm looking back at these paycheck screenshots through a different lens. The income disclosure statement is telling me that people earning these kinds of paychecks very well could be classified as being within the top 1% of the company. So now this amount really doesn't look impressive at all. Sure, $800 to $1,000 extra per month sounds great, but you're telling me that that's a typical amount for people in the top 1% to be making? I can make paychecks like that, but I have to get myself to the top 1% first? The next bullet even says that the top 10% of brand ambassadors made an average of $5,000 annually. That's nothing, you guys. People in the top 10% of the company are only making $5,000 on average a year. This is where everything starts to fall apart, and that's why I feel like it's important to showcase here. If you're scrolling on Instagram and you stumble upon this reel and you see that people in Plexus are apparently making $1,000 monthly paychecks, that doesn't look so bad, right? Like, heck, I want an extra $1,000 a month. Maybe this opportunity would be good for me. Maybe I'll reach out to her for more information. But once we start to dig dig into it, we discover that this post is not compliant with the policies and procedures of the company. She needed to have a disclaimer, and she did not put that disclaimer. And if she did give the disclaimer, then it would direct people to the true numbers, where they learn that making this kind of money is highly unlikely. And there's even people in the top 1% of the company who aren't even making this much. And that's the true issue here. It's deception. I'm not denying the fact that some people in MLMs can make legitimate good money, but what I am saying is that it's highly unlikely. And sometimes people in these companies will be intentionally shady about giving you the full picture of their earnings in order to deceive you into believing that this kind of money is possible for you too, and that it is likely that if you join the company that you're going to get $1,000 paychecks as well. And that's just not the case. And I don't know this person. I don't know her rank. I don't know if she's within the top 1% or not. But what I can tell you is that based on Plexus's own numbers that they have reported on their most recent income disclosure statement from 2020, you got to make it dang near close to the top of the pyramid if you want to make this kind of money. And making it to the top of an MLM pyramid is very difficult. So it's not likely that you're going to make that kind of money too. Next up is a short Instagram story from a Monate market partner.
I am very, very excited. I'm only accepting a few influencer applications because of the fact that I want to focus on making sure that you guys are set up for success and know exactly what to do and feel confident doing it. So I'm going to leave my link here. Take the influencer application. This is just for me to see if it would be a good match for you.
Very short Instagram story, but there's a lot of issues here. Firstly, let's tackle this whole language of influencer. It is of my belief that using the term influencer in this context is highly misleading. Sure, I suppose that if you take the definition of influencer literally at face value, then it does make some sense, because if you join an MLM to start selling their products, your goal is to generate interest and to therefore influence people to buy it. If taken literally, I can see how MLM reps would consider themselves to be influencers in that sense. However, I think there is a difference between true influencers and MLM reps. I see an MLM rep as somebody who signs up for an MLM company one day, and they essentially start paying that company to promote their products and their products only. You don't have to have a large following to join an MLM. You don't have to have a loyal audience. You don't have to create content of any kind of value on social media at all. You quite literally just have to go to the website, pay a fee, sign up, boom, now you are an influencer, as they call it. And I think that's problematic. Because on the other hand, I see true influencers as people who have built a genuine audience based on a genuine niche content that does offer value to the viewer. Whether that is lifestyle content or fashion content, comedy content, farming, home renovation, anti-MLM content, etc. And then those content creators partner with a variety of different brands under a contractual agreement that says, hey, I will promote your product to my audience in exchange for this kind of compensation. In other words, it's like saying that I will give your company or product this amount of space or airtime on my platform that's already well established and I already have a loyal following for a price. There are absolutely right and wrong ways to go about this. There are absolutely unethical influencers out there, but that's not the discussion at hand. The point is that, in my opinion, MLM reps are not influencers. Sure, they may have the same goal of influencing their audience to buy something, but that's where the similarities end. Influencers don't dedicate their entire social media platform to the promotion of one single product or one single company, but MLM reps do. Influencers do not go to the company and pay them in order to market and sell their products, but MLM reps do. And finally, influencers don't have to recruit other people to also become influencers if they want to make any money, but MLM reps do. And I say all of this, and I take you down this huge tangent of explaining the differences because in this day and age, it feels like being an influencer is somewhat of a popular and sought after job title among young people. It's trendy, it's cool, it has the potential to pay really well, and those things are appealing to some people. And MLM reps know that. They know that it's appealing. They know that it's sought after. And in my opinion, they kind of want to market their MLM business opportunity as the way to become an influencer overnight, basically. Like, all you have to do is pay to sign up, you start promoting the products, and then boom, you are an influencer. And I'm sorry, but it's just not that easy. You can't just skip over all those necessary steps of creating valuable content that the viewer actually wants to consume, building an entire platform based on that content, cultivating a genuine audience of loyal followers, and only then are you really of value to brands. And only then do they reach out to you saying, hey, you got a good thing going over here. Can we work out a deal where you promote my product to that audience that you've built? And that whole process takes a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of energy, and it's not something that typically happens overnight. And personally, I think that's why MLM reps play off of the influencer language, that joining an MLM is a quick and easy fix to becoming an influencer overnight, although that's not the case at all. Young people these days have a desire to become influencers, but actually doing that can be difficult and it can take a lot of time and energy. So MLMs are pitched as the easy route. And I know that was a really long-winded tangent about influencers, but I think it's important to point out because it's another soft spot for people. It's another point to be preyed upon. It's another aspect in this day and age of these new MLMs and using social media to promote those MLMs that is appealing to young people. And people might get sucked into MLMs not because they think the products are life-changing, not because they think they're going to be a millionaire, but because they want to be an influencer, because that title to them is really appealing. And I think that's really interesting and worth pointing out. And the second and final issue that I have with this clip is that she claims that she has an influencer application that you can fill out if you want to work with her, and that she has a limited number of spots. And it's this whole limited number of spots thing that makes me roll my eyes. There is no such thing as spots in an MLM. Let's be honest with ourselves here that if you actually had a lot of people wanting to join your Monate downline, you would let them. If you have 100 people in your DM saying, hey, I am ready, sign me up, I have the money, where's the link, let's do it, you are not going to sift through those 100 people to hand select 5 to 10 of them to sign up. Absolutely not. This is the biggest joke. MLMs are a numbers game. How many warm bodies can you sucker into joining this thing to bulk up your downline? That's the name of the game. So why are we pretending that there's a limited number of spots? And the answer is FOMO, to create a sense of FOMO. The fear of missing out. Let's play into that. Let's create this sense of urgency that time and space is limited. And you better jump on this opportunity right now before it's too late. Spoiler, it is never too late. She will never turn you down if you approach her to join her team. The spots will never fill up. The spots do not exist. In fact, when I see people saying this, it signals to me that their DMs are dead. There is nothing going on in there. There is no activity, not a soul has any interest in joining the business opportunity. And that is why she's going on her Instagram story to try and stir up that interest and stir up that FOMO, to try and get any activity at all, because until this point, no one's been biting at the opportunity. Nobody wants it. No one's interested. So we have to try and convince people that this opportunity is so desirable and spots are filling up and there's a limited number of spaces left. It's just ridiculous, but it's a good tactic because ultimately the people viewing your Instagram story have no idea what's really going on in your DMs. You could go on your Instagram story and say, I have 10 people wanting to sign up for Monate today, and nobody would know the difference. Nobody can prove that that's not right. In the same way that nobody can prove that there are spots and nobody can prove that those spots are filling up. It's all a facade and a manipulation tactic. And the last thing for this video is just a little lighthearted extra thing. I've been trying to end these MLM top fails videos with something more light or funny or like an anti-MLM win of sorts. This is a Facebook post by the Kaysville Fire Department. I have no idea where this is. I'm assuming it's a town or city or county maybe. And they posted, "Get out, stay out, and call for help. Remember this slogan anytime you have a fire in the home or when one of your former high school classmates is trying to rope you into a pyramid scheme. Hashtag not today, hashtag safety smart." And what I love about this is, what does a local fire department have anything to do with MLMs? Not much, really, but they're still taking the opportunity to take like this witty jab at MLM culture, which I find highly entertaining. I mean, I sit here screaming from the rooftops that MLMs suck, and when you come to my channel, that's what you expect to hear, right? But not when you go to a Facebook page of a local fire department. Like, it's just funny to me when you find these little nuggets out in the wild of like people or organizations or establishments or businesses whose main purpose is not to bring down the whole MLM industry or anything, but they can still find humor in the crazy things that go on in MLM culture. I thought this was pretty funny. I laughed when I opened it in my email. And with that, my friends, that's everything I have for today's Top Fails video. Thanks to everyone who sent me the content for this video. I greatly appreciate it. I quite literally could not do it without you. So again, here's a reminder that if you come across things that you would like to have considered for a video, please send them my way. The instructions are down below. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you in my next one real soon.